step here is to weigh each of the bins. So it's put on a scale. And then Gary records the weight as part of the transfer paperwork. Our second bin. First one weighed about 1,100 pounds. So Tim, what are you putting into the grapes now?
This is SO2. It helps prevent oxidation, and we need bad guys from starting spontaneous fermentation.
Oh.
Just basically helps protect the grapes before they turn into wine.
What's the chemical name of that?
Sulfur dioxide.
Okay, here we go. It's being loaded into the crusher destemmer. And that just knocks the grapes off of the stem. And here's where all of the stems go. Into the press. This is, we take the stems, and this is put into a compost and can be re-spread out on the vines for nutrients. Here's our last bin. Okay, if you follow that tube, the wine or the grapes is being pumped through the tube there. You can kind of see it move as it pumps. And up here you'll be able to see where the press is turning, and what that's doing is actually pressing the juice out of the grapes. And then as it presses, it's going to be pumped temporarily into these tanks to start fermentation, and then they'll be put into barrels for really the fermentation process. This is the free run coming out of the press. Really good stuff. Well, there's the juice. It's starting to fill up. Okay, Tim, so we're making our first sparkling wine. And we've done the crushing and destemming, and now it's in the press. What happens now?
So now we'll run through the press cycle. We'll let this juice settle for a day or two, and then we'll rack it into some older French oak barrels where it'll undergo fermentation. We're barrel fermenting, so I want to add some complexity. We're going to do some lees stirring and really build up the mouthfeel in this wine. So it'll barrel ferment. It'll age in barrels for another 4 to 5 months, at which point it'll get bottled, and it'll only go in secondary fermentation and bottle. And when that process is done, we'll riddle it. We talked earlier about riddling. We'll get the riddling process done, disgorge, and put our final dosage in, and you'll have your first sparkling wine.
Yeah. Tell me, what is, explain to our fans here what riddling is.
Riddling is the process of slightly turning the bottles on what's called a riddling rack. And as you do that, the neck of the bottle is slightly turned downwards, and so that sediment heads towards the neck of the bottle, at which time we can freeze that plug of sediment, of yeast cells, and disgorge them, and you have your secondary fermentation. The pressure from the bubbles forces that plug out of the wine, and
that's it.
You have your champagne.
So the sparkling part of it comes from the secondary fermentation?
The sparkling part comes from secondary fermentation.
Okay. So when do you think we'll be able to drink some Woodworth sparkling wine?
Hopefully soon.
Next year, about a year from now?
About a year from now, yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot.